3 games left to play here on the Cape season. Hyannis, they look to clinch the playoff spot tonight against the Cotuit Kettleers, who are threatening out of the cellar here in the West Division. Hello and welcome in Gabe Sustek alongside with Jack Keffer. And Gabe, it's coming down to the last 3 games here for Hyannis. They have lost 5 in a row, and Cotuit, they need to win out to get that playoff spot, and Hyannis needs to lose out. But really, we've said the whole way the past week, Hyannis, they have playoffs, and it's in their hands. Everything that they can do to make the playoffs, it's all on them, and they send Justin Lewis out to the mound to get it started.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I think you see is that Justin Lewis coming out on the mound after his last 2 starts. Really good job for him that he's been coming out, and he's really been dominant. As now, in going to his 3rd start for Hyannis, I think Gassman wanted him to go into this start to really get him a game. I mean, if you're talking simply about the Barnesville Patriot Cup, which seems like an afterthought at this point for this team trying to grab a playoff spot, it doesn't matter if you just simply win the game, but Hyannis needs to win the game and score 6 runs or more in the game, because that clinches the cup, because right now Cotuit has 5 runs on them at this point. But like I mentioned, that is probably something they're not thinking about. They're thinking about more beating this team simply and getting into the playoffs.
Gabe, Hyannis, they've lost the last 3 games to the Kettleers. They haven't scored more than 1 run in those 3 games. And the man who leads things off in Quinn Brody has been their weakness. What do they need to do to silence this Cotuit team?
I mean, the biggest thing for Brody is you have to stop putting him in spots where he can get those runs to score, because a lot of times he has done that. He's been put in those spots. He has 8 RBIs in the games against Hyannis. He has 15 total on the season. And I think that's really the biggest thing is, I mean, he's going to be the leadoff guy, but you may not be great against him. I mean, Justin Lewis has been great the last 2 starts, but your biggest thing is don't bring him up to bat when you have runners in scoring position.
Justin Lewis in his 3rd start up here on Cape Cod. His last one pitched a top 5 performance on the season for Hyannis. 6 innings, only 1 earned, 2 hits, and 8 strikeouts as he faces Quinn Brody, the left-hander from Stanford, for the first at-bat. Lewis misses with the ball. Chris Hudgens behind the plate tonight for Hyannis, getting the start after a day off yesterday. As Jordan Rogers starting at third straight game that he's there. 1-0 pitch is outside in for a strike. Proctor moves over to second. Rutherford at short. Cody Henry at first. And in the outfield, it's Este Truitt and Peter Zyla. As Lewis gets another strike, it's a 1-2 count now to Quinn Brody. Brody, best average on the team, hitting .328 for the Kettleers. He was an all-star this past season, and he pops this next pitch up into the infield. Jordan Rogers calling everyone off, and he makes the grab for the first out of the inning.
And I mean, just speaking solely on Jordan Rogers for a moment, we've done it the past couple of games, but you look back at it and I feel like if I was the head coach, I'd be kicking myself a little bit over keeping away from third base. I mean, I know you had to put Dylan Busby somewhere. I mean, he's de-aging tonight, but you really just love what he barely has played there since going to left field, and he comes right back out there, and it seems like he never left.
First pitch to Jordan Pierce is inside for a strike. Rogers has been fantastic at third, no doubt. Made some great plays last night. Very solid defensively. It's been the bat that has been worrisome, but that's kind of been the story of this Hyannis lineup. 0-2 count now to Jordan Pierce, the third baseman this evening. He'll be followed by Tim Susnara, A.J. Balta in the cleanup spot. Alonzo Jones Jr. back as the designated hitter for Cotuit. 0-1 is outside. Cal Stevenson to follow Jones Jr. And then it'll be Grayson Janesta, Ryan Hagan, and Jackson Klein to finish things off for the Kettleers. Hyannis playing them just a couple of days ago. This one is flared out into center. Truitt coming on, but he's not going to be able to get to it before it drops. A base knock for Jordan Pierce here in the first with 1 out. And Justin Lewis has to work with a runner on now.
Yeah, and Lewis, she tried to beat him with it, but Pierce just swung on it, got the end of his bat at it, and had enough power where he was able to bloop it far enough away where Rutherford or Proctor had no shot at it, and close enough where Trey Truitt doesn't have a shot running in from center field.
Well, here's Tim Susnara. Susnara, the catcher out of Oregon, hitting .273. That's second best on the team to Quinn Brody's .328. Cisnara watches the first one in the dirt. Cisnara, a member of this Cotuit team last year, one of the only returning players. Had a hit last night against Chatham, and he had 2 against Hyannis a game ago. His hit last night, a home run. It was a solo shot. As he now has, that was his first home run of the season. Lewis working with a runner on. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Tim Cisnara, the left-hander. It's roped to first. Henry over to second with it. Gets the out there. Covering first will be Henry himself. And it's a 3-6-3 double play. Great work by Lewis to induce the ground ball. And good work from Cody Henry to start the play off. It's a 1-2-3 inning here in the first. We head to the bottom half of the inning where a struggling Hyannis offense looks to turn things around here against Cotuit in a big playoff shaping game here at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the first inning, first looks for this Hyannis lineup against Jason Billis, the starter tonight for Cotuit in his fourth start, on Cape Cod. He has 2 losses under his belt, 7.44 ERA, as he gave up 6 earned runs to Falmouth in his second start, which really drove that ERA up, but came late to the Cape because his college team, Coastal Carolina, well, they won the whole thing. They won the whole shebang, the College World Series. And now Billis working against Hyannis, trying to keep Cotuit's playoff hopes alive. He'll face Ford Proctor, the first batter this evening. First pitch misses outside. It will be Proctor, Rutherford, and Jordan Rogers hitting in the 3-hole. Dylan Busby is the designated hitter tonight. He'll be cleaning things up. Then Cody Henry, Chris Hudgens, Cameron Este, Peter Zyla, and Trey Truitt. As Billis gets a strike here on the outside corner. A 1-1 count now to Proctor. Ford Proctor leading things off yesterday against Harwich. Didn't have a hit. Watches that one go low. It's a 2-1 count now to Billis, who pitched well for Coastal Carolina in his first season as a freshman.
Yeah, and that probably is the big tell of why he came up here. I think any other situation, you probably would have stayed home and take the week with his trophy just to hang out with his friends.
2-1 pitch to Proctor, swing and a miss. That's what I would do. I mean, you just win the College World Series, you're on a high, but Jason Billis maintaining his commitment to Cotuit. coming up and pitching in a big summer league. 2-2 pitch, a fastball. That was right down the middle, but it's called for a ball. It's a full count now.
And I'm sure that's the biggest thing, being a freshman and just being probably didn't get to see as much action as some of the other guys on Coastal Carolina did.
Full count pitch. Proctor fouls it off out of play.
And especially it shows great to a Cotuit team that had struggled the entire year to still come up here and just kind of show what he has and just take a couple of starts here and there, then go back to Coastal.
Payoff pitch to Ford Proctor is on the inside corner. He walked him. As Billis, he was good at Coastal at a 4.43 ERA and 44 2/3 innings pitched. Although he walked 35 batters, struck out 47. And Billis has been great up here. He's only allowed one extra base hit, but he has walked a lot of batters in his not 10 innings pitched. He's walked 11. Rutherford swings at the first pitch, pops it into center field, but it will be blown in. As you can see the flag coming into the infield. Under that one was A.J. Balta for the first out of the inning. 10th walk on the season, or 11th walk on the season for Billis. That one issued to Proctor. And just some struggles for Jason Billis really early on. He surrendered 10 hits, now 11 walks, struck out 7. And he pitches a lot of full count pitch counts. Over 20% of his at-bats against batters have gone to a full count. Jordan Rogers, the third baseman, the 3-hitter tonight, steps up with Ford Proctor on first. Billis pitching with one out here. Rogers will step back in against Billis. This one misses low. It's a 2-0 count now.
And the big thing for Hyannis is trying to get ahead early against Cotuit. That's something that they've struggled just in general, but especially in the last couple of games against the Kettleers. I mean, you had the game yesterday against Harwich where Zach Rutherford hit that solo shot with 2 outs to start the game, but then we're not able to find any more offense since then.
Chop to second. Balta is there. He flips it on over to Hagan, but the play at first is not in time. Jordan Rogers beats out the throw. It will be a fielder's choice, and now there's 2 down here in the inning for Dylan Busby, who we've seen in the last 2 games, but he has not started for Hyannis. Dealing with a couple of sore limbs, really. But he's pinch hit in both the appearances. And last night's game against Harwich, he pinch hit in a big opportunity.
Yeah, he came in for a chance for Hyannis to possibly get him at least a tie, if not maybe a win. But you'll see everyone now. It's kind of what happens up here on Cape and what you see in a lot of leagues when you get to this point at the end of the season.
Busby chops the first pitch foul. He doubled against Orleans in his pinch hit appearance in the 9th. Set up the tying run, but was stranded at second. Last night, came up with 2 outs and 2 runners on in the 9th. That was probably Hyannis' best scoring opportunity of the game. This one gets away from Susnara. Rogers doesn't advance to second. That was way out of the glove of Tim Susnara, and Rogers was just frozen at first.
Yeah, no, I think he may just not have really read it well. I think he thought Susnara was going to chase it faster than he did, and then
1-1 pitch. Fastball just misses. 2 outs here in the first. Scoreless ball game. Jason Billis on the mound for Cotuit out of Coastal Carolina. Went to Caryville High School in Delaware, but missed his senior season due to Tommy John surgery. He was regarded as the best pitching prospect in Delaware, and he went to the team that, as a freshman, won the whole thing. Next pitch is low, and Dylan Busby's got a hitter's count now, 3-1 count. 2 outs and a runner on base. And Jordan Rogers Busby hitting .306 on the season, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, and 10 doubles. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss from Busby, and Rogers is stranded in the middle, but he slides back safely at first. Just barely gets back. Not sure what Jordan Rogers is doing over there at first base.
Yeah, no, you would think it's a hit and run situation, but he took a large lead over there at first, and he didn't hear any sort of crack at the bat at all to keep going, and he's lucky to avoid that tag from Janesta.
Full count pitch, Rogers is going, and he fouls it off. It looked like it could have been a delayed steal as well from Rogers. We've seen that a couple of times where Hyannis has delayed the steal, caught the catcher off guard.
Yeah, I would only think it was a hit and run because of Busby swinging. I mean, it is a hitter's count, but
nonetheless, Rogers didn't go on it. Payoff pitch again. This one works its way inside. Second walk of the inning issued by Billis. And there's 2 runners on now for Cody Henry.
And, I mean, we've seen this already with Cody Henry. And we've seen a lot happen with him in the left-hand batter's box. And this is big for Hyannis. This is where they've struggled, and a stray tennis ball has made its way out onto the field.
Looks like a couple of fans playing on the sideline. You get a lot of younger fans playing ball in the field behind the press box here. Very close. Cody Henry, the switch hitter out of Alabama, hitting .262 on the season. 11 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, but he pops this one up into left, into foul territory it goes. No Cotuit player is able to get there. Cody Henry gets some new life. Henry working a 4-game hitting streak. Had a hit in last night's ball game against Harwich, a single. 1 of 5 hits. That hit coming in the 9th inning. Hyannis. This offense has mightily struggled. Last night, the only run coming off the solo shot from Zach Rutherford. Henry steps in. Jason Billis. He kicks and fires. The off-speed pitch hits on the outside corner. It's an 0-2 count now to Henry. This Hyannis lineup. They've only scored 3 runs in their last 4 games. 0-2 pitch, fouled straight back. Henry was right on that one. He just got a little bit under it. Rogers retreats back to second, and Busby slowly trots back to first, taking his time. Nolan Busby has not looked good when really running around. That's why he's been given some days off to rest. Henry slices one into left field. Brody was in, but they're going to wave Rogers around. The play at the plate is in time. Great play from Quinn Brody out into left as he nags Jordan Rogers, who came around third. As this ball game is still scoreless, headed into the 2nd inning of play. A good opportunity for Hyannis to score and take the lead. But Quinn Brody has been the kryptonite for this Harbor Hawks team. It's a scoreless ball game headed into the 2nd inning of play here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the second inning here at Judy Scarafile Field. Justin Lewis on the mound for Hyannis, and it'll be A.J. Balta leading things off for Cotuit. The 4-hitter out of Oregon. As Lewis kicks and deals to Balta, first pitch strike. A.J. Balta hitting .239 on the season. He's got 21 hits, 7 doubles, 2 home runs, and 11 RBIs for the Oregon Duck. This next pitch is in there for strike 2. Lewis working quickly. Justin Lewis joined us on the broadcast 2 days ago here at home. He's done that a little bit before. Outside pitch, it's chopped and pulled to second. Proctor's got to make a quick throw, and he does. He gets it off in time. One away here in the second inning. But Lewis, he seems to like this new starting role.
Yeah, and this doesn't work out. I think he could find a spot in some kind of broadcast forum. He loves being on here, but
loves chatting.
Yeah, I mean, but he's done great so far in his past 2 starts, and what you like to see is how consistent he's stayed in different starts, especially kind of going to a newer situation. You might not have all your stuff in the spots that he's liked, but for the most part, I think you have to like what he's been dealing so far.
Alonzo Jones Jr. pops it up. Rogers is over by the fence. Pop-up works its way out of play. Jones Jr., we didn't see him in the last time these two teams met. He has been on quite a cold streak, as his average has dipped from 203 the last time he faced Hyannis on July 6th to now 184. He had 3 hits against Hyannis in his first game played against them. Now hits a soft dribbler to shortstop. Rutherford takes care of this out. 2 away now in the second. But Jones Jr., the switch hitter out of Vanderbilt, he really hasn't done much damage since those first 3 games against Hyannis, and he was kind of like the Quinn Brody in the first couple of games, but Hyannis took those games.
Yeah, I mean, that was really the only difference that you mentioned.
Good off-speed here from Lewis to get a first pitch strike to Cal Stevenson.
And I think the biggest thing is he wasn't put in spots to get RBIs. He was put in spots simply to be a runner. I mean, Quinn Brody's been the exact opposite.
This one misses inside. Yeah, Brody has led off the game for Cotuit for quite some time now, and I mean, he still continues to come up with guys on base, knock them in. Continues to get chances to do that. He was the only all-star in this Cotuit lineup. 1-1 pitch is way upstairs. Lewis lost control of that one. Cal Stevenson hitting .262 on the season. 3rd highest batting average on this Kettleers team. Lewis misses down low now, 3-1 count. Stevenson had a hit against Hyannis in their last meeting, now in At Lowell Park. Lewis fires in a strike, works the count full here with 2 outs in the second inning. Scoreless ball game here at Judy Scarafile Field. The last game of the Barnstable Patriot Cup, and an important playoff picture game. Here's a chopper to second. Proctor has no problem putting away the 3rd out of the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for Justin Lewis in his 3rd start up here on Cape Cod. We'll head to the bottom half of the second inning of play, a scoreless ball game here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Bottom of the second inning. Scoreless ball game here at Judy Scarafile Field. Chris Hudgens to lead things off, the catcher tonight for Hyannis. Got the night off yesterday. Ricky Smith playing all 9 innings. First pitch is fouled off. Chris Hudgens has loved to play here at Judy Scarafile Field, as on the season, Hudgens is hitting .267 at home. He's hitting .350. Takes this one upstairs. Has 2 home runs, 2 of his 4 home runs up here. Also has 9 RBIs. He got 15 total. Swing and a miss on the off speed. It's a 1-2 count now. Jason Billis, a little slow in the first inning. Walked 2 batters, gave up a hit. But Quinn Brody throwing out Jordan Rogers at home to end the inning. No, that first run. Hudgens swings and sends this one into right, but great grab by Cal Stevenson as he snags it right at his knees.
Yeah, that one didn't drop quickly enough, and Stevenson was running in. And you thought that one was going to drop early enough, but Stevenson ran in and made a nice play on it. The wind always plays a factor here at McKeon Park, and swirling around, but didn't probably reach high enough to probably not reach it that far, but just it was a far blooper for Hudgens.
Here's Cameron Este, the left-hander out of Baylor. And Gabe, we usually see the wind blowing out straight towards the harbor, but tonight blowing straight in. Very strange. We haven't really seen that at all. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys lose some fly balls out here because of the wind whipping around, but haven't seen the wind blowing straight in like this.
It does happen a couple of games where you see it, but yeah, most of the time you will see it blow out there, which makes it a very good park for big hitters if you push it in the right direction of the wind.
324 down the left field line, 318 down the right. 2-0 pitch. Misses on the outside corner. That one looked like it was going to hit, so Snara was waiting for the home plate umpire and Steve Gramsch to call a strike, but nonetheless it's a 3-0 count now to Este. Cameron Este awaits the pitch. This fastball hits for strike 1. Este hitting .222 on the season. 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Although Este was the home run derby champion a little more than 2 weeks ago. Was the All-Star game it was 2 weeks ago. Wow. A week ago, I guess, from last Saturday.
Yeah.
This past Saturday.
I was going to say 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Whew. I know. Time flies. Payoff pitch to Cameron Este. Sneaks inside. Third full count pitch for Jason Billis. Second time that he's walked a guy. He's gotten 12 full counts this year against batters that he's faced. He's walked 9 of them.
Yeah, he just can't even find a pitch to get guys swinging at times. I mean, that time he went really inside on Este, and Este was going to have no shot at even swinging at that one. It was inside hard on his knees.
Peter Zyla swings at the first pitch, sends it right past Janesta at first. Coming around second is Este. Zyla will be held up at first, but a base knock for Peter Zyla. And now runners at the corner with 1 down here in the second.
Yeah, that was a heated one right past Janesta. No quick reaction time. Would have been able to save him that, except for maybe throwing his body in front of it. But Zyla can get Hyannis going here, and Trey Truitt comes up. And we've seen him a couple of times with runners in scoring position, and he still only needs a flyout to score the first run. But Zyla has just been a great piece for Hyannis when he's been able to play, and he hasn't had too many opportunities, but he's definitely made the most of it when he's been in the lineup.
He's heated up this second half of the season. When given opportunities, he looked great. Zyla started last night. Gardner to hit against Harwich. Also attempted a bunt, but was thrown out on a nice play. Here's Truitt. Truitt attempts the bunt. Este was coming down the line on the safety squeeze, but Truitt knocks it foul.
And I kind of like this move for Truitt. When you're not hitting too well, you always try to find different ways of not simply just getting on base, but simply moving runners or finding other ways to just help the team. And for Truitt, he has some speed, so you put it in the right direction, he could make a play to first.
Big swing and a miss from Trey Truitt on the off-speed from Billis, and now it's an 0-2 count. Gabe, I really liked the bunt attempt as well because we haven't seen that from Hyannis, and they've struggled to score runs. And when you're struggling to score runs, you got to manufacture them the old-fashioned way, play some small ball. 0-2 count, 1 out, runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. It's in the dirt. Good block by Cisnara. Trey Truitt has seen his average dip to now 208 on the season, 7 doubles, along with 8 RBIs. He leads the team, he's second on the team with 13 walks, only behind Ford Proctor, who's got 17. 1-2 count now to Truitt. Here's the pitch from Billis. This is upstairs. It gets past Cisnara. Coming in is Este, and he'll slide in safely. Hyannis, they strike on the board first. A 1-0 ball game here in the second.
And they weren't plagued by the brick wall. Normally the brick wall bounces it back a little bit and maybe gives Cisnara a better shot, but that one lifted off of his glove and stayed high enough where it gets caught in the netting and stays all the way to the backstop. Cisnara knew he had no shot to make a play at home.
We've seen that happen a couple of times, mostly on plays down at second. Peter Zyla, he advances to second base. Still 1 out in the inning, a 1-0 lead for Hyannis after the wild pitch from Billis. And it's a 2-2 count to Trey Truitt, the 9-hitter, as Proctor awaits on deck. Here's the pitch. Truitt knocks it into center. This one is dropping, and it's going to drop into no man's land. Zyla will be held up at third. Trey Truitt with a little base knock, and runners on the corners once again.
Yeah, and he puts just a little bit on it. It sounded like he might have cracked his bat. But, yeah, it looks like they're going to bring it in, show it to Josh Bailey there to see if there is any damage to it. But once again, I mean, you saw them in the first inning with Cotuit. Just gets a little bit of a piece on it, flies into a place where none of the defense isn't. I mean, Jackson Klein is playing very shallow in center field, too.
Contrast with Trey Truitt, who plays deep in center. Brody's playing pretty shallow in left as well. Stevenson's is straight away. Ford Proctor walked in his first plate appearance today. Pierce sneaks in from third. Proctor fouls the first pitch back right into the screen. If there was no screen, it would be headed right at my face.
But would you be prepared for it?
Gabe, I'm always prepared.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
Yes. Got my glove in my car.
That's not technically being prepared.
Yeah. Being prepared for everything else, I guess. Oh, one is in the dirt, so Cisnara gobbles it up. Ford Proctor hitting .288 on the season. He's got 38 hits. Second on the team, only to Rutherford, who's got 45. 38 hits, 5 doubles, a home run. Only 5 RBIs, but he's walked 17 times, as we mentioned. The 1-1. This one's up the middle. A bouncer, easy play for Hagen. Tag second. The throw on to first is in time. Great play by Ryan Hagen on the ground ball up the middle by Ford Proctor. And Billis escapes the inning here in the second with no more damage done. Hyannis, they push a run across on 2 hits in the inning. There's 2 runners left on base to end it. We move to the third. A 1-0 lead for the Harbor Hawks over the Kettleers. Here in the last game of the Barnstable Patriot Cup on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Third inning of play here at Judy Scarafile Field. 1-0 ball game. Hyannis leading as Grayson Genesta steps in and smacks one into right center field. This will be extra bases for Genesta. First pitch of the inning. And it'll be a leadoff double for the first baseman left-hander. Great work by Grayson Genesta as he hits his 6th double of the season. He sets this Cotuit lineup well to strike back here in the third after going down 1-0. Although Billis induced a ground ball that was converted into a double play. Stranded a runner at third for Hyannis. And this bottom of the lineup for Cotuit has seemed to be the struggle for Hyannis as they have gotten on base for Quinn Brody in the top of the lineup, and he's been able to knock them in. Here's the shortstop in Ryan Hagan. Lewis will check second once more. Hagan, Adam Mercer, teammates with Trey Truitt out in dead center, hitting 195 this season. 24 hits, 5 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs for the right-handed second baseman, playing short tonight. Here's the first pitch. Hagan shows bunt, but he fouls it off. Hyannis with a lot of new faces here today as teams constantly dealing with pitchers and position players coming and going because of school coaches and innings limits and whatnot. Hyannis, lots of players coming in to replace them. Tanner Caraher, an infielder out of Judson, coming in and signing and just getting here today. Here's a rope down the left field line. Genesta will jog his way home. Extra bases for Hagan. And just like that, 2 batters in. Cotuit has tied things up here at McKeon Park. Hagan took that fastball in the inside corner and just roped it down the third base line. Just like that. It's a tie ball game once again for Hyannis. They have not been able to hold the lead for quite some time now, as the pitching has been fantastic for Hyannis, but whenever they've gotten a lead, they just haven't been able to guard it and keep it. The lead has been few and far between. Last night they led against Harwich. Here's a shown bunt by Jackson Klein. He bunts at first base side. Henry's there to pick it up. I'll throw over to first in time. Hagan advances 90 feet to third base, and Cotuit, they have the go-ahead run 90 feet away. And the kryptonite for this Hyannis Harbor Hawks team, and Quinn Brody is up at the plate. Quinn Brody has been fantastic. And we mentioned it several times before. In this 5-game skid, Hyannis has only led for 1 minute and 58 seconds. That's pretty bad. Here's a shot into center field. Truitt coming on. He's not going to get there, but Proctor is. What a catch from Zach Rutherford. Excuse me, it's short. Oh my, the over-the-shoulder grab. He had no idea where that one was. Truitt was way deep in center. And Zach Rutherford just made a fantastic over-the-shoulder grab, and he keeps Hagan at third, which is probably the biggest part of the whole inning. The go-ahead run does not cross, and instead, Jordan Pierce, the left-hander, will have to come up and knock him in himself with 2 outs here in the third. Big swing and a miss on the off-speed from Lewis. Proctor deep at second base for Pierce. Pierce hitting 173 on the year out of Navano, Reno. A JUCO school, junior college. 1-1 count now to the left-hander. Hagan still on third. Here's the pitch. This one's fouled off. And as we were mentioning a little bit earlier, the new faces for Hyannis. Well, Tanner here is not the only one. Thomas Lane, 6'6" monster out of Boston College, also joining the team. Right-handed reliever. 1-2 pitch. A curveball misses in the dirt. Good block from Hudgens. Those have been the two new guys rolling in. Josh Bailey also coming in a couple of days ago. Justin Lewis trying to get himself out of a jam here in the third. He'll step off as he faces Jordan Pierce here with a runner on third, but there's 2 outs in the inning, a 2-2 count. Ball game tied at 1s. Here's the 2-2 pitch. The off-speed misses outside. Lewis's two-seamer and his changeup working very similarly. Changeup a little bit of exaggerated and slower than his two-seamer. Two-seamer is a little bit tighter on the spin and on the cut outside to lefties. Here's the payoff pitch. This one's outside, and it's a 2-out walk issued to Jordan Pierce. And now Tim Cisnar, the 3-hitter, will make his way up to the plate.
The next batter for Cotuit, the catcher from Oregon, number 16, Cisnera.
2 doubles in the inning. One off the bat of Grayson Genesta and one from Ryan Hagan have tied this ball game at 1 apiece here in the top of the 3rd inning. Hyannis only led for 1 minute and 58 seconds. And that stat could be applied across the board, really, in this 5-game losing streak. They have had few and far between on the leads. I think they led last night against Harwich. That might have been the only time that they have in this 5-game skid. And it was short-lived against the Mariners, who struck 2 back in the 3rd. Here's Cisnara, 0 for 1 on the day, grounded into a double play in his last at-bat. This one gets away from Lewis, as Jordan Rogers will take a trot over to third, wipe off the mound, and talk to Justin Lewis. We've seen Rogers do that a couple of times this season. Rogers is going to be a senior, one of the oldest guys in the clubhouse, really, for this Harbor Hawks team. He's led by example, and he's very vocal in that dugout, the good and the bad. But a lot of the bad is mostly funny. Great individual. Lewis will throw over to first after the double move. Jordan Pierce on first. Ryan Hagan at third. 2 away here in the 3rd inning. Cisnara awaits the pitch. This fastball misses upstairs. 2-0 count now, and Ray Corn is going to have to trot out of the dugout to talk with Lewis. Well, Ray Corn and Justin Lewis, lots of familiarity there, as these two have been working all summer on refining some of Lewis's pitches, especially that changeup and two-seamer, which have been lethal here for Justin Lewis in these 3 starts that he has made. First start, pitched 4 1/3 scoreless innings, only gave up 4 hits and struck out 5, walked 2. And against Falmouth, he pitched 6 innings, gave up an earned run, but it was not on his watch, as Lewis gave up a hit into the 7th inning. He worked into the 7th, gave up a leadoff hit, and that hit ended up coming around to score. Struck out 8 batters against the Commodores in that one. He was cruising. But Falmouth, they tacked on 7 runs in the last 3 innings. That started the spiral of events that have led to a 5-game losing streak for this Hyannis Harbor Hawks team. 2-0 pitch is inside. No strikes on Cisnara with runners on the corner. Things have really cooled off here at Judy Scarafile Field. Clouds rolling in. Not threatening looking, however. Wind picking up as well. Lewis can't get a strike on Cisnara. It's a 4-pitch walk. That one was right at the knees. Bases are loaded now, and it will be A.J. Balta coming to the plate for the Kettleers. A.J. Balta was hitless against Hyannis in his last appearance. That one being played at Lowell Park. He had 1 at-bat here And now smokes this one up the middle in his second one. One run comes across. Being waved around second is Pierce, and he will score as well, but they've got Cisnara in a rundown. Proctor and Rutherford chasing him down. They finally get Cisnara to end the third inning, but 2 more runs cross for Cotuit. They take the lead here in the third inning. They finally get to Justin Lewis. 3 hits on the inning, bring across 3 Kettleer runs. They lead this ball game 3-1 here at McKeon Park. We move to the bottom half of the third inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Three runs tacked on by the Kettleers as they answer Hyannis. And they take the lead against the Harbor Hawks as they do so on 3 hits, 2 walks. No errors in the inning. But they get to Justin Lewis here in the top of the third. Now Hyannis trying to rebound. As it will be the heart of the lineup. Zach Rutherford to lead things off, then Jordan Rogers and Dylan Busby to follow. Rutherford with a solo shot last night against Harwich in the first inning. That was the only source of scoring. He's been cold as of late, but he had 2 hits last evening. Had 2 hits the night before, and he seems to be working out of his slump, which he was 0 for 15 at one point. But Rutherford hitting .290 now. 45 hits, leads this Harbor Hawks team. 11 doubles, is tied for the lead with Cody Henry. As he faces a 2-1 count against Jason Billis in his third inning of work. Billis has faced 5 batters in both the first and the second inning, and he almost hits Rutherford here. That fastball sneaks inside. We've seen Billis work into 3-ball counts a lot in this game already, 4 against Harbor Hawks. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Rutherford. Rutherford smacks it. Gloved nicely by Pierce. The throw over is in time. Jordan Pierce flashes some leather at third and gets the first out here in the inning. Nice play from the third baseman to nab Zach Rutherford of potentially extra base hits. Gabe is back with us after...
Heyo.
Gabe, well, it's intern appreciation night here.
Yes, it is.
At Judy Scarafile Field at McKeon Park. This ballpark has a lot of names now. But Jordan Rogers comes to the plate, and with intern appreciation night, Gabe, all the interns get a voucher for some clothing items, some memorabilia, as they would say, here at Judy Scarafile Field. What'd you get yourself?
Well, I got a nice 3/4 zip Cape Cod Baseball League.
Ooh, I've seen some of the scouts
It's
wear
very
them.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, there are not many mediums left, and that does not work for me. I don't fit well into a large.
1-1 is fouled off of Rogers' foot.
But
Usually wears the Tennessee shin guard, but he's not tonight. You like the piece? I mean, that looks really nice when you're showing
Yeah.
the 3/4 zip.
yeah, I like it. I got another 4th of July hat, but it's for one of my sisters. And Luca called me out on it immediately, saying, "Don't you already have that?" I was like, "I do." But I highly doubt my shopping is completely over. So there's one more day left, and I couldn't make everything at once because then that'd just be outrageous.
So did you use the voucher on one item?
I just brought it all up and
Okay.
said, "Here's the voucher."
There you go.
Makes things easier. And
A
saying,
lot
"I
easier.
want this voucher on this exact thing.
Yeah.
Do not put it on anything else."
1-2 pitch sneaks inside. Rogers ducks out of the way.
But
I can't wait to peruse down there.
I would have gotten a sweatshirt, but there's no mediums left. I would have gotten either there's the dark one with the orange and blue straps on it. I like that one.
Rogers gets jammed. Ground ball to third. Pierce throws it over. 2 away.
Or I would have gotten the one I really like the most are the ones that the players wear, which is kind of those cream-colored ones with the Hyannis logo on them.
Oh, the hoodies.
The hoodies. Those
Yeah.
are nice, but those are only in...
Benito Santiago used to rock one every day.
Yeah, John Gavin always wore it.
Yep.
I like those the best
Yeah.
out of most of them. I mean, of course, people say that you can see how it gets dirty quickly, probably aside from the dark one, but I like that one the most, but they only had extra larges left, and that one will definitely not work.
For those listening, obviously you can't see the gear, but you can if you go on to the Harbor Hawks website. Busby spanks the first pitch out in the left. That'll be a base knock. You can go on the Harbor Hawks website, www.harborhawks.org, and you can actually browse through a lot of these clothing and hat options. There's a lot that this Hyannis team has to offer. Great gear. I know that I will be headed home with a lot of it. Although I'll probably buy some Cape Cod League gear that they sell here as well. I was talking to some of the Cotuit players, and they noticed my Cape Cod League hat, which has gotten...
You've gotten a lot of...
It's been all the buzz this summer, Gabe. And they said that Hyannis or Cotuit doesn't sell the Cape Cod League gear at Lowell Park. As Henry swings at the first pitch, a ground ball to Pierce at third. He throws over for the out. All 3 outs this evening, here in the bottom of the third inning coming from Jordan Pierce at third base, as Busby, the only man to get a hit in the inning. He'll be left on first, stranded. 3-1 ball game, Cotuit leading. We'll move to the 4th inning of play here at Judy Scarafile Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chapman's Bar and Resort and Spa is New England's premier oceanfront resort, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Three to 1 ball game. The Kettleers leading here in the last game of the Barnstable Patriot Cup. Hyannis, they've dropped the last 3 games to Cotuit. They've only scored 3 runs in those games. Alonzo Jones Jr. to lead things off for the Kettleers, the designated hitter batting in the 5 spot tonight. He grounded out to short in his last at-bat. As Justin Lewis still working on the mound, as he got tagged for 3 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks back in the 3rd inning, where Cotuit just made a living off of Lewis's pitches. He really struggled to hone in the zone.
Yeah, you look at it, 2 doubles in a row and then 2 walks in a row for the Kentucky Wildcat.
Those 2 walks coming with 2 outs, which was the big one. And then the single up the middle by Cisnara scoring 2 runs, and that just really put Hyannis in the hole.
It's very uncharacteristic of what you've seen from Justin Lewis over his past 2 starts.
2-1 pitch is fouled off. Big crowd here tonight. The home front making a strong showing on a Monday evening. 3 games left to play, and really, if you're wanting to catch some baseball up here on Cape Cod, you better do it quickly, as this season slowly winds down. About 2 weeks left. Playoffs starting on Friday. Both these teams hoping to make the playoffs. Cotuit has to do it. They have to win 3 straight, and Hyannis has to drop all 3. They'll check Alonzo Jones Jr. at third, and they say he doesn't go around. Norm Gordon, the third base umpire. Larry Rosenberg at first. Full count pitch now to Jones Jr. He swings at this one, pops it up. That one deep into left center. Truitt coming in. He'll make the grab, steals it from Este. There's one away here in the 4th. But Gabe, kind of unlike that, I don't think that we've seen this big of a crowd here on a Monday evening.
On a Monday evening, unfortunately, I'm not keeping track of every game that goes by, but yeah, this is kind of a crowd that you see a lot more on the weekend days.
First pitch to Cal Stevenson is flown out into left, and instead of Truitt making the catch, it will be Cameron Este. Almost said Treg Habercorn, as he's been starting out in left field, but he had to come out yesterday from an injury. He's in the dugout tonight, and he could potentially be in the lineup tomorrow, giving him a day off. 2 away here in the 4th, and it'll be Grayson Genesta, the left-hander, coming up, who doubled on the first pitch of the inning back in the 3rd. That started things off for Cotuit. Genesta, it was his 6th double of the year. Lewis gets a strike here, even the count at 1s. 3-1 ball game, Cotuit leading. 2 outs here in the 4th. Curveball misses upstairs. Lewis has struggled with his command of some pitches tonight. Here's the 2-1. This one works inside. Now on a fastball, but he's still not able to locate it, really.
And you can see he's kind of frustrated after doing very well in his first 2 starts and letting up those 3 runs in that 1 inning.
This one goes the other way. 2-out base knock for Grayson Genesta, his 2nd of the evening, as this bottom of the lineup has raked against Hyannis pitching.
Yeah, those 2 doubles early on, and now Genesta 2 for 2. And you can see Lewis, while he was motoring down in the 1st and 2nd, he's lost a little control of where he wants to place his pitches, and then Cotuit has gotten ahead of him and made great contact, and they've sat back on him too in those 2 walks. They've seen that he's missing his spots a little bit, and you see Hutchins is trying to make some motions to keep it within the strike zone, but it just hasn't worked so far for Justin Lewis.
Here's Ryan Hagan, who doubled in Genesta for Cotuit's first run. That tied the ball game. Hagan later came around to score on the Balta single. Misses the first pitch of the at-bat. Hagan, Genesta, and Stevenson were batted in the bottom 4 positions for Cotuit when they faced Hyannis at Lowell Park just 2 days ago on a Friday night. And they were the reason that Quinn Brody was able to put Cotuit ahead. So they knocked in 2 runners. 2-0 count to Ryan Hagan. Lights flickering on here at McKeon Park. Here's the pitch, a big swing and a miss on the inside corner from the shortstop.
I think that's what you look for a little bit more in Lewis. I mean, I know he's got knocked around a little bit more, but you have to find a way to put some strikes on across the board, get ahead in counts, and make Cotuit swing a little bit more, because you can see at times they'll be laying off of him and will just simply take walks.
Lewis has walked 2 tonight. We'll throw over and check Hagan. Two-one count now to Ryan Hagan. Lewis comes set and deals. This one's upstairs. Snap throw down. Called safe. Great work from Chris Hudgens. Another snap throw. We've seen him pick off several runners this season. He's been great behind the plate. No doubt the best defensive catcher that Hyannis has had. Probably one of the better defensive catchers up here on Cape Cod, I would say. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball, that misses. There's a 3-1 count. Scoreboard out and right was faulty, and now Gassman's going to make the trot out of the dugout. Looks like that's going to be it. They're going to hold off Chris Hudgens, however, so wonder what moves they'll make. It's the second mound visit, so I think that's going to be it for Justin Lewis.
I mean, normally with Gassman, he comes out there, he brings the infield in, and he might be a talk to Lewis. I mean, yeah, he's going to leave. I feel like Justin Lewis has deserved enough right to get this final after what he's done the past 2 games.
And he held off Hudgens from coming up, so it was an individual talk there saying, hey, you got this last guy. Let's go get him. Third walk issued by Lewis. Cotuit has tagged him for 5 hits through 3 2/3 of an inning, as it will be Jackson Klein, who has not been hitting well lately. Was 0 for 3 against Hyannis in their last meeting. 0 for 1 tonight. Sacrifice bunt, swings the first pitch, knocks it foul third base side. 2 runners on and 2 out for the Kettleers here in the 4th, who lead it 3-1. Jackson Klein is average dipping to 191 as the Stanford boys start and finish this lineup. Quinn Brody, another Stanford player. 0-1, swing and a miss on the curveball.
And never feels good when you swing and miss and you end up on your knee. That really doesn't help the confidence, but it helps the pitcher a lot. He knows you're going to go for it.
Lewis trying to work the last out here in the 4th. Cotuit threatening. They've got 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position. Lewis gets the sign from Hudgens. He comes set. And he'll take a peek at second. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss from Klein at the curveball again on the inside half. Cotuit, they strand 2 runners on a walk and a hit by the Kettleers here in the 4th inning. But Lewis works out of a jam, and he gets that last out to keep the damage from going any further. A 3-1 ball game headed into the bottom half of the 4th inning. Hyannis trying to strike back here at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Jason Bill is still dealing for the Cotuit Kettleers here into the 4th inning of play. As he has a lead under his belt, a 3-1 lead. He doesn't have a win on the season. He's got 2 losses and 3 starts. Now working against Chris Hudgens. Hudgens takes a first pitch strike. Hudgens led off the 2nd inning, scoring position. One pitch now to Hudgens. Curveball misses outside. Cisnar tries to snap it on the outside corner. Does not fool Steve Gramsch, the home plate umpire. This one rides upstairs. Another 3-ball count issued by Jason Billis, and he's really struggled getting strikes tonight.
Yeah, and Hyannis just has not been able to really do well, even though they get guys on base with all these walks.
3-1 pitch, a little dribbler on the inside half. Pierce has to make the throw over, but Ginesta can't make the scoop at first. Would have been the 4th straight batter retired by Jordan Pierce at third base, but Ginesta is going to be credited with the error, and the leadoff man is aboard for the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, and Hudgens saw it coming in. I think he believed that it may have dribbled out over the plate a little bit more before he took a swing on it, but he swung a little bit early into it, and that's where it kind of got lower in the bat, and he kind of rolled it a little bit over, and actually the error is going to go on the throw.
Interestingly enough, it was a good throw by Pierce. Ginesta had it in his glove, just couldn't come up with it. First pitch is a chopper up the middle. Easy play for Hagen, who turns 2 once again. That's the 2nd time that's happened for Hyannis. The first time it happened came off the bat of Ford Proctor to end the inning. Now 2 away here in the 4th, and that error is nulled.
Yeah, and they're making it really easy with these double plays like you mentioned. They're feeding it right to the second base bag and not even trying to put it in a spot where the defense has to put a little bit more of an effort into making the throw.
2 away here in the 4th. Peter Zyla, the left-hander out of Duke, at the plate. First pitch from Billis is a strike on the inside corner. Zyla 1 for 1 on the afternoon. Hitting .228 on the season. He's got 13 hits. 3 of those are doubles. The 0-1, a big swing and a miss on the curveball from Billis. Billis works an 0-2 count now. Here's the payoff pitch. It's a chopper right to short. Hagen has got it. The fire on the first base is in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Jason Billis and the Cotuit Kettleers. We move into the 5th. A 3-1 lead for Cotuit over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the fifth inning. It'll be the top of the lineup due up for the Kettleers. Quinn Brody, the kryptonite to this Hyannis team. He's 0 for 2 on the day, however. 2 flyouts. He'll face Justin Lewis. Swings at the first pitch. A chopper down the right field line, but Henry can't come up with it. It'll be extra bases for Brody. Zyla comes out in right. Another leadoff double for the Kettleers here, and they're going to mark it as an error, however. The ground ball, they're going to say that Henry should have come up with it.
We've seen a lot of times Henry's made a lot tougher plays than that, and a lot of time using his body, but kind of leans over. He doesn't use his body in that case. He kind of just reaches over with his glove and thinks it's going to take a high hop into it, but it kind of goes right under it and trickles out to the outfield.
6th error of the year for Cody Henry. He's made 3 in the last 6 games. A big swing and a miss from the third baseman and Jordan Pierce. Another leadoff man aboard for Cotuit. They got their leadoff man home in the 3rd inning, which capped off a 3-run third. Attempted bunt, but it nails Pierce on the hand. Justin Lewis getting rocked around a little bit here in the 5th inning. And they've got a man warming up in James Harrington in the bullpen.
Yeah, and this, as you might just say, Jack, Gassman's going to slowly walk out here. And now the infield's going to come in. And this now might be the final song for Justin Lewis.
Justin Lewis, his day is over. 4+ innings worked for Lewis. 3 runs on 5 hit and an error for Lewis in his 3rd start up here on Cape Cod. James Harrington coming in relief. We'll step aside for a moment. Cotuit threatening again in the 5th. They've got 2 runners on and no out, and a pitching change for Hyannis. 3-1 ball game here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 5th inning, a pitching change for Hyannis. It'll be James Harrington making his 13th appearance on the year. He's got 16 1/3 innings under his belt. Rutherford broke to second. It looked like there was maybe a pickoff play on, but Harrington delivers a pitch. The pitch is a ball. Attempted bunt by Cisnara.
Could have been the classic Ron Polk play, where the second baseman, the shortstop, run to
They
third and
switch
first.
over. Oh,
I love that play.
that has not worked well in their favor, however.
I love it, though.
Cisnara shows bunt again. This pitch is low. Hudgens is going to come out and talk with Harrington. That one looked like it hit at the knees.
Yeah, I mean,
It's been questionable.
It's
The
been-
zone has been questionable low.
it's been tough as going on here, and I think Hudge is just going to go and talk to Harrington, saying, "Hey," he's like, "I know it's frustrating." He's probably telling him Lewis went through the same deal, trying to find spots, and it's like you just got to figure it out here. And Polk's going to come out and give some more defensive assignments, but I think at this point that's the only thing Hudgens can do is tell him, hey, Lewis is having the same problem that you were, so.
Cisnar in a 2-0 count. Rutherford and Proctor both break. Cisnar shows bunt again. They go to third. Rogers is going to throw over, and the play works, Gabe. It's the first time all season that it has, but they get it done. They get the lead runner.
Don't make it seem like they've done that play a lot either.
They've done it 2 times, and one of them
ended
terribly.
But you made it
terribly.
You made it seem like it was like it's something they've done almost every game.
Might as well.
And they're trying to do everything they could.
I've never seen any other team attempt that play.
It's because you've never seen a coach like Ron Polk.
Oh my gosh, the best in the game, father of SEC baseball.
I think you like saying that more than anything else.
I really do. I mean, he's the guy. First pitch is grounded up the middle. It works its way through for a base hit. Balta gets his third RBI on the day as Quinn Brody comes across to score a 4-1 lead now for Hyannis, for Cotuit here in the 5th inning. Balta with 3 RBIs on the day already. Instead of Brody working his way into this lineup, it's Balta who's just been crushing Hyannis.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest thing is Hyannis. They've just gotten hit around a lot so far by Cotuit. They're finding their spots, and it's not loud contact either. It's very short contact, getting to the gaps, and just finding a way to escape into the defense.
The run is Jordan Pierce. Alonzo Jones Jr., the designated hitter, comes up. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Big swing and a miss on the curveball on that first pitch. 4-1 now, Cotuit leads here in the 5th inning of play. 1 out here for James Harrington, still working with 2 runners on. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball, and Jones Jr. is going to let it fly by for strike 2.
I mean, you have an out to work with here, dear Jones Jr. I'm surprised he didn't come up and bunt. And show bunt immediately made a move 2 guys over, especially with only 1 out.
0-2 count now. The Vanderbilt second baseman. Harrington misses this pitch outside. James Harrington, we've seen him 2 different times after the All-Star game, where he pitched 2/3 of an inning in the 9th. Matt Naylor, his teammate, came in to finish it off. But Harrington has pitched 2 scoreless innings since that All-Star game. Here's the 1-2. Alonzo Jones Jr. sends this one into dead center field. Truitt is over. Tagging from second is Cisnara. The throw is in time. Cisnara tries to avoid the tag, but Rogers sticks it to him. Cotuit, they strand 2 runners here in the 5th, but they knock 1 more onto their lead. A 4-1 lead for the Kettleers over the Harbor Hawks. Will head to the bottom of the 5th inning of play here on Judy Scarafile Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. 4-1 lead for the Kettleers here in the 5th. Trey Truitt, the 9-hitter to lead things off for Hyannis. As he chops at the first pitch here, kind of a half swing, a grounder to second. Balta takes care of that. Truitt hesitated on that swing.
Yeah, and he went around on it too. And unfortunately, he got contact, and the contact trickled far enough in to make a play for an easy out.
One pitch, one out for Jason Billis. Billis working well here through 4 1/3 innings of work. He's only surrendered 1 earned run on 4 hits. Here's Ford Proctor, 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. Proctor swings at the first pitch, mashes it into right field. Stevenson going back, it's out of his reach. Extra bases for Proctor, a strong throw from right, but it's not in time. A stand-up double for the shortstop from Rice. And with 1 out here in the 5th, Hyannis has got something going.
Yeah, and that's all you can ask for if you're the Harbor Hawks, is just find a way to get guys on, get guys in scoring position. They only have 1 out. I mean, you're only down 3 runs, and there's still a lot of baseball to play. So if you scratch your runs away here, you can do. I mean, it's not like they've been completely shut down here by Billis. I mean, he's thrown a lot of walks, he's thrown a lot of balls, and guys have made contact off him. It's just been about doing what Proctor did this there, fly where someone isn't.
Rutherford swings at the first pitch, a curveball, but he knocks it foul. Billis has issued 5 hits and 3 walks on the game. Although Hyannis has really struggled with runners in scoring position in this 5-game losing streak. Both these teams fighting for a playoff spot. Neither have clinched. This one gets away from Cisnaro. Proctor advances 90 feet. Big scoring opportunity here for the Harbor Hawks. There will be a wild pitch on the call.
And you've seen that a couple of times, and especially against the Cotuit series. Hyannis has been favored very much by those pitches. I mean, they're not put down as errors, but at least I would say 2 of their runs have been scored via pass balls or wild pitches by Cotuit.
One of those runs scoring on a wild pitch tonight. The only run for Hyannis. Rutherford has an opportunity to knock across the second one, however. Faces a 1-1 count here in the 5th. 1 away, so a ground ball or a fly ball would do it and get that runner in to score. But Hyannis, in these situations, we've seen a lot of strikeouts lately. Billis, however, is still searching for his first. This one low, now a 2-1 count to Zach Rutherford. Rutherford 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to second in his first at-bat and grounded to third in his last. Big swing and a miss on the fastball. That one was upstairs, and Rutherford was hunting.
Yeah, he was going after it. I think Bills is lucky. That one looked like right at the end, it tailed off just enough to avoid Rutherford's bat. If not, that one's flying down to left.
2-2 count now for Zach Rutherford. He's got a runner on third. Swing and a miss from Zach Rutherford. Jason Billis gets his first strikeout victim of the evening, and it comes in a huge situation. Gabe, we talked about that too. I mean, Hyannis, they strike out with big opportunities. I mean, all Rutherford needed to do was put the ball in play there to score the run.
Yeah, it's been their biggest thing all season, and it's not even getting hits with runners on. It's just finding sacrifice hits at the very least. I mean, they're last on Cape in that, is getting sacrifice hits to score runs, and I mean, you get a couple of those every other game, and that really adds up, but it's just been a big thing for them is not being able to score runs, and there's a lot more times where guys have scored because of pass balls or wild pitches from third.
Billis misses low here, evens the count at once. 2 away here in the 5th. Proctor on third, a 4-1 lead for the Kettleers as Jordan Rogers steps in. He's 0 for 2 on the day, and he's 0 for his last 14. He has really struggled in the month of July. Dropped his batting average quite a bit, now at 250, was hitting over 300 just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he was tied for the lead in RBIs, and now a couple of guys have blown past him. Really, I mean, Shaver's still up there. Austin Falaire is now tops in the Cape. That was the funny thing. Deion Stafford, well, that was the funniest thing. I think Peter Gammons, who's a big guy that tweets about the Cape, he said incredible that Austin Fuller leads in home runs and RBIs, and he's a guy from MIT.
Yeah, D3 ball player. 2-1 pitch to Rogers is in there. Misses at the knees. That low zone is really up in the air right now with Steve Gramsch. Rogers trying to fight out of a 4-for-30 streak here. This one misses low, and he'll just take the walk.
And I think this is the biggest thing, even more for Hyannis, of the struggles, is that in this game, Billis is giving you so many more opportunities than they have seen in other games. I mean, you talk about the game yesterday against Harwich with Patty Naughton. He was giving them nothing to deal with except for that home run by Zach Rutherford. And now Billis has offered so many different kind of walks, and Hyannis is just not able to capitalize. I mean, Proctor didn't reach on the walk. He reached on a nice hit into right center field, but still the walks have just been something that you haven't been able to capitalize, even though they did get that one run off of the walk from Este.
Fourth walk issued by Jason Billis. One arm warming in the Cotuit bullpen and one also in the Hyannis bullpen. Dylan Busby, the designated hitter, he will come up with runners on the corners and 2 outs here in the 5th. Busby singled in his last plate appearance into left, and he strokes one just foul on that first pitch from Billis.
Yeah, he comes a little bit more and has a chance to lift that one.
Busby hitting .235 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He's garnered 7 RBIs with 2 outs on the inning. Big swing and a miss from Busby, and he's down quickly in an 0-2 hole. Jason Billis, while he's worked a lot of 3-pitch counts, 3-ball counts, when hitters have gone down 0 for 2 against him, they're 1 for 10. 0-2 pitch is popped up. This one stays in the infield. It looks like Ginesta is going to come down with it in Hyannis. The threat is null. They leave runners on the corners, and they leave a runner stranded at third for the second time in the ball game. This one stays at a 4-1 lead for the Kettleers entering the 6th inning of play here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Top of the 6th inning here at McKeon Park in a 4-1 lead for the Cotuit Kettleers in Game 6 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup. And Cotuit leading the series 3-2 and leading in this game by a score of 4-1. James Harrington still in relief for Hyannis. He'll face Kyle Stevenson, Grayson Ginesta, and Ryan Hagan for the Kettleers. And Hyannis, they need this win to clinch a playoff spot, but not only would they need a win in this game for the Barnstable Patriot Cup, as that one is lifted into shallow field. Este is under for the first out. They would need to score 6 runs or more to take it, because once you tie this series, it first goes to runs scored in a game, and then it goes to strikeouts. And Hyannis' strikeout woes does not help them in this case, as they're already 11 back plus.
Pretty much with the way this offense has been rolling, it seems unlikely that either of those situations are going to happen, even if they do win the ball game.
But Hyannis only needs a win, and they're in the playoffs, and they eliminate Cotuit, and then you have the final 2 games to relax and rest some players and get some other guys in the rotation and rest your likely 2 starters, who I would believe it to be Andrew Gonzalez and Justin Lewis. Even with the start that he had today, he had 2 great starts before that have helped him. And his only other guy in competition probably would have been John Gavin, but he is gone. As that one misses, then it'll be a 2-1 count here to Grayson Genesta. Genesta's been hot. 2 for 2, a double and a single, and a run scored. Gets a short hopper. Harrington's going to have to scoop it off the grass. Throws it over the head of Genesta at first, and there's 2 away.
Good base running by Genesta. He runs way off the line in the grass area and makes it difficult for Harrington.
So 2 quickly away for James Harrington. And he'll face Ryan Hagan. He's 1 for 1 with a double in that 3rd inning as well, and a run scored. Also an RBI. Walked in the 4th inning, but was left stranded over at first. Harrington. He'll kick and deal. And an off speed hits down low by the feet of Hagan for ball 1. Everything else is set, though, for at the very least the West Division playoffs. Falmouth has taken first place in the Western Division, and Hyannis will likely play them if they get into.
Looking for their first championship since 1980.
They are likely, at least in my book, one of the favorites, along with them in Harwich. Another off speed, misses down low, and a 3-0 count to Hagan.
Can't count out YD.
I would love to see that Falmouth-Harwich pitching matchup.
Yeah, it would be low-scoring games. I think Falmouth would win it.
The 3-0 misses inside, a 4-pitch walk for James Harrington with 2 outs in the inning.
It would be quite interesting to see those teams work against each other.
Yeah, you can't count out YD. Wareham has been hot, but I feel like they don't have the pitching. Exactly. I mean, if they still had Gunnar Leger, but I mean, he would have only been able to go 3 innings in a game anyway, but it would have been a helpful 3 innings at the least.
Well, Falmouth has owned Wareham recently. So it's not, those 2 teams collide, then it's not really going to be much of a game almost.
Wareham tied for the 4th time this season. This time it was due to darkness at YD, but 4 times in a season. I mean, you still get a point from it, so I think you'll be happy with it. And I mean, Orleans just recently clinched yesterday with a 5-4 win against Brewster, and Brewster is still trying to fend off Chatham for that final spot.
Yeah.
But a win for them today and a loss by Chatham would clinch it.
We thought that this Hyannis Cotuit playoff picture was set.
Runner goes. That one's lifted deep into center field. Truitt, though barely has to move, gets under it and makes the grab for the final out of the inning. A walk given away by Harrington, but it leaves him stranded, and it's still a 4-1 lead for Cotuit as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 6th inning here at McKeon Park. Still a 4-1 lead for the Cotuit Kettleers. Jason Billis' day is done, though. He reached a good 5 innings, though, to help his team keep it at a 3-1 lead. But now Eddie Mole, the righty, 6'4", 225-pounder out of George Washington, will step in. Throws the first pitch ball to Cody Henry, who sits in the left-handed batter's box. And he flies that one foul on the left side. But this will be now the 16th appearance for Mole. He actually started 2 games as well for Cotuit. 3-1 record, 2.03 ERA, 26 2/3 innings pitched, 28 hits, 10 walks, 19 strikeouts for the All-Star, one of the only few All-Stars for Cotuit. Henry rips that one deep into center field. Moving back is Klein, and he won't be able to make the grab as it trickles to the warning track. And Cody Henry, another double for him. He is now 2 for 3 here this evening.
12th double on the season for Cody Henry. Leads the team now and the league.
He overtakes his teammate in Zach Rutherford, who has not been able to reach too many doubles since going to the second half of the season, but Henry has been stacking them up as he now sits with 12 doubles, 3 triples, and 2 home runs. And he puts himself in scoring position early with no outs in the bottom of the 6th. Mole deals. A fastball hits at the knees of Chris Hudgens.
And Gabe, here's where Hyannis struggles. They got a runner on base. They have him in scoring position. Can they knock him in? As of recently, it's been no.
The 0-1 by Mole inside at the shoulder of Hudgens. He gets out of the way. And it'll be a 1-1 count. Chris Hudgens on a 4-game hitting streak. And he has been hot here in the second half of the season, even though all the load he has had to carry for this Hyannis team, being behind home plate almost every game.
Yeah, it's been taxing.
The 1-1 hits on the lower corner.
I mean, he's been back there every single day.
Yeah, Hyannis has Ricky Smith from Merrimack, also has Christian Malfetta out of Stanford, who is listed as a catcher, but he redshirted his freshman year. The 1-2, short hopper over, immediately making the grab is Pierce. He looks over to second. Henry is going to slide in. He's called safe and avoids the tag. Pierce was right on the play, and he tried to chase Henry, but he overextended him a little bit. But only 1 out is drawn in the inning, and Henry stays over at second.
Yeah, Cody Henry just kind of caught in between. Didn't know if he was going to go to third or not. Luckily, he gets back to the bag in time.
So Hudgens falls to a 5-3 ground out. First in the inning. And now Cameron Este, the lefty, stands against the righty in Mole. Checks over at second. The pitch, off speed, misses down low.
And Gabe, mentioning in the last half of the inning before the inning ended, we thought this playoff spot, the 4 spot, was kind of solidified by Hyannis, but things are getting tight here. I know that Cotuit needs to win out, and Hyannis has to lose their next 3 games. And to be frank, I mean, Hyannis looks like they're going to lose the next 3 games, especially as they're down in this one. But I don't know if Cotuit can win the next 3. That's the big question.
The 2-0 here for Mole as he kicks and fires. Este rips that one right to the first baseman in Janesta. He will take it himself as Henry moves over to third, but 2 outs are down in the inning. And it's very tough to say. I mean, you never know what can happen, especially with 2 teams that have been down in the Western Division almost the entire season. I mean, Hyannis has placed themselves in third for a couple of games here and there, but for a team that, I mean, every team at this point has players that are almost all of them playing below 50%, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see just what happens. Who has a little bit left in the tank to maybe get that one other run, or maybe if just Hyannis finds luck and Cotuit loses another game. Short dribbler over. Hagen drives in, throws a long shot over, and keeping his foot on the bag actually is Janesta. He reaches over, and they say he kept his foot on the bag. He gets the final out of the inning. A huge throw by Hagen almost misses Janesta, but it still remains a 4-1 lead for Cotuit as we head to the 7th inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 7th inning, Quinn Brody will lead things off here for the Cotuit Kettleers. He has been the major contributor for this Kettleers squad against Hyannis. He's been quiet tonight, 2 pop-outs and reached on an error. The real man tonight has been A.J. Balta, 2 for 3 and 3 RBIs. Dominic Labruto will step in. He throws the first pitch, and Truitt literally stood there for a moment in center field and moves 2 steps in to put the first out away. Trey Truitt, he's shown some speed I've never seen before where he has not moved from his spot as that one went right at him. But it's an easy first out of the inning for Dominic Labruto, a teammate of Garrett Cave, the lefty from Florida International, as he draws the first pitch strike into Jordan Pierce. This will be his 4th appearance already for Labruto. 3.38 ERA, 2 2/3 innings pitches. That one is driven, but foul on the left side by Pierce. It'll be an 0-2 count. He stands in 2 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits. Has allowed 3 runs, but only 1 of them earned. 3 walks and 2 Ks. As he misses there, it'll be a 1-2 count. All 3 of his walks, though, were gathered in his first appearance, where for a guy that came up off of his couch out of Florida, came up here into the Cape Cod Baseball League, it's something you don't ask of a great amount of people. But has done well so far in his other 2 appearances, as he is now being watched carefully, I might add, by Ron Polk, Ray Korn, and Chad Gassman. The 1-2 off speed hits below the dirt. And it'll be a 2-2 count to Jordan Pierce. 6 hits apiece, 1 error apiece, but a 4-1 lead for the Kettleers. Labruto deals, and he misses outside down low. And it'll be a full count to Jordan Pierce. Tim Susnara sits on deck for the Kettleers. Labruto, the 3-2, and he nails Jordan Pierce right in the shoulder. It's his second straight hit by pitch. And he is getting bullied by Hyannis pitching, and he will take a base with one out here in the top of the 7th. And Cotuit will see a little bit more action. Tim Susnara will step in. He has one of the ground out into a double play. He's also walked and reached on a fielder's choice.
I love that the 4th ball of that at bat just drilled Jordan Pierce.
I'm sure Pierce didn't like it.
No, he definitely did not. Labruto throws hard, to say the least.
Hard throw just like his teammate in Garrett Cave. Not quite, but
Yeah.
has some speed on it.
Not quite, but he's almost there.
He throws on over to Pierce, who stands up safely. Susnar in the left-handed batter's box. The first pitch, a nice off speed, drops inside for strike 1.
That's what we've seen from Labruto. I mean, besides his first start where he walked 3 straight batters and recording out, he has looked great. Good off-speed pitch. His fastball has a lot of movement on it.
He does it there once again in an 0-2 count to Susnara. Mark Nowadik is warming up in the Hyannis bullpen, so from one early member here or one late member, I should say, for Hyannis to another in bullpen pitching. Nowotnik came up slightly a little bit before Labruto, but he will have his back whenever he is either finished or Manager Gassman decides to take him out of this game. The 0-2 off speed misses inside on Susnara.
Looked really good, too. He made that close. And another newcomer coming up in the bullpen. Thomas Lane mentioned his name a little bit earlier out of Boston College.
Short grounder over to Rogers. He will throw to second. Proctor to first. Stretching out is Henry, but Susnara is called safe with the fielder's choice. Hyannis does get the second out in the inning, though. And now Labruto will face A.J. Balta. As we mentioned, he's been the guy this evening for Cotuit. 2 straight singles in his last 2 at-bats and 3 RBIs. But Labruto will deal over to first to keep Susnara close.
Yeah, Balta has been in this position time and time again with a lot of runners on. And he's done well for himself. 2 hits this evening. They bring across 3 runners.
Balta shows a bunt, and they're going to say he held it there long enough and it'll be called for a strike. Looked like he was trying to do what a lot of lefties who do bunts and motioning a little bit towards first base as you still hold the bunt there and get a drag bunt. That one is popped up into center field. Truitt running over to it and gets under it for the final out of the inning. So Labruto in his relief appearance allows no runs to score, but the Kettleers still hold a 4-1 lead heading to the bottom of the 7th here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 7th inning, Trey True will lead things off for Hyannis. He did that in the 5th inning as well. And he will face Eddie Mole, though. As the righty in, Mole sets on the mound. Kicks and delivers, and that one misses the glove as well of Susnara for ball 1. Hyannis, as we mentioned, they've been on a very large cold streak. Their last 5 games, they have not scored more than 4 runs in that time span. Truitt fouls that one away on the third base side. But before those 5 games, in the last 9 games before this 5-game stint, Hyannis, 7 of those 9 times they scored 5 runs or more. In fact, 17 times this whole season they scored 5 runs or more. The 1-1 to Truitt lifts that one over the head of Balta, trickles out into center field, and a leadoff base hit.
Yeah, I mean, that just tells you about the offense and everything you need to know.
Second baseman from Rice University.
Especially that last night they out-hit Harwich. They had 5 hits. Harwich had 4, and they still were unable to pump across a run to tie the game. And against Orleans, they tied them 9-9 in hits, so they're getting hits. Not in situations, though.
They've been good with 5 runs or more. They have a 13-4 record. All 4 losses have been decided by 3 runs or less. And Mole sets in on Ford Proctor, the leadoff man here for Hyannis. But the same thing goes for Hyannis in their run struggles. They've been in a lot of games where they could have used some more run production. They would have seen more wins. As only 12 of their games have they lost by 3 or more, by more than 3 runs. As that one hits for a strike and a 1-1 count to Proctor.
Yeah, they've also won a lot of one-run ball games. 5 and 6 in one-run ball games.
The 1-1 hits on the upper corner.
That stat now 5 and 8, excuse me, because of the 2 previous losses by 1 run.
The 1-2 here for Eddie Mole. A runner on first and Trey Truitt. The pitch is way outside, blocked though by Susnara. And slightly unfortunate because it's Hyannis can get into close games at the end, and you get to see a little bit more of Garrett Cave, who's just been phenomenal, but you have not seen him a lot since the All-Star break.
I haven't been able to utilize him.
Yeah. The 2-2 misses outside. And, I mean, you saw him that one time in relief, but that was simply probably just to get his arm a little bit there because he hasn't pitched in a while, but he has not come in to the 9th inning to pitch a lot of games recently for Hyannis, even though they have been in close games, but it just hasn't been on the same side for Hyannis.
That's the problem when your best pitcher is your closer. You move him into one-inning guy.
That one is flowing out into center, moving back in, reaching his Klein. He makes the grab to put the first out away.
I mean, you restrict your best pitcher from pitching in loss or like losses or close games, really. I mean, the guy that's going to get you that win, he has 10 saves on 17 wins this season for Hyannis. The guy who's going to get you there is only going to pitch in wins, and that's frustrating when a team needs a 7th and 8th inning guy who's going to hold the ball game up, and Garrett Cave is reserved for later in the game.
Yeah.
Right now, Hyannis has bigger things to worry about. They need to get a lead.
Rutherford grounds that one into Balta. They throw over to first, but they will not get him. They do get Truitt, though, out at second, and they put 2 outs on the board.
Another 0-for-4 night for Rutherford.
Third baseman from Tennessee, number 2, Jordan Rogers.
So he stands over at first, and Jordan Rogers will step in with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-1 lead for the Kettleers. Mole kicks and delivers inside for ball 1 to Rogers.
on a 2 for 30, or excuse me, Rogers on a 2 for 32 streak, 4 for 32 streak. July, he's hitting sub 230.
Sits with a 2-0 count. And you definitely listed the struggles of many Harbor Rocks, whether it's been recently or through a span of time from the beginning of the season to this point. Mole sets once again. Rutherford standing over at first, and a swing and a miss down low by Jordan Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers, he hit 205 in the month of July. He did have 15 RBIs, however, on 3 home runs and 3 doubles. But nonetheless, 205. Granted, it is a new month today.
And he also had that grand slam in YD. That one's called for a strike, and Mole works it to a 2-2 count.
2 of those home runs all of those home runs and 7 RBIs coming against YD. 6 of those RBIs coming in one game.
Mole delivers, swing and a miss down low by Rogers. He's frustrated with himself, and Hyannis continues to stay frustrated as they trail 4-1 here heading to the 8th inning of play on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 8th inning, and a 4-1 lead still for the Cotuit Kettleers as they lead 3-2 in the Barnstable Patriot Cup, and still hunting down Hyannis in that 4th spot in the West Division. Hyannis needs to lose the next 2 games. Cotuit needs to win both of those games if they stay at the same score it is right now. And
Cotuit plays YD tomorrow and then Wareham the next day, so it's going to be a tough 2 games for them.
Hyannis goes to Falmouth tomorrow to play the Commodores, and then they will play the final home game here against YD. First pitch hits for Mark Nowotnik, who relieved Dominic Labruto, the righty 6', 195-pounder out of Florida Atlantic, teammate of Alex House. The 0-1 dribbler over, hops up into the glove of Rutherford, throws over to first, and 1 out is away. And 4th appearance here for Nowotnik. 1 save on the season, has an 0-1 record though. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, but 5 earned runs for him. A lot of that coming in that game against Bourne, where Hyannis squandered the lead and lost 10-9. His next pitch, off speed, hits on the outside for an 0-1 count to Cal Stevenson. Nowotnik kicks and deals again, and then hits in the same spot for a called strike.
And Gabe, you mentioned the two next games for Hyannis. Falmouth tomorrow, and then YD. I mean, those games are just as difficult as Cotuit winning against Wareham and YD.
It'll be a 1-2 for Cal Stevenson, and the only thing you would say on both ends is that they're all teams that they play. As Nowotnik deals, and that one is a flown foul on the left side.
Those teams are in the playoffs.
Those teams in the playoffs. I mean, they both will play YD, but YD is in the playoffs. Wareham is in the playoffs, and for Hyannis, Falmouth is in first place in the playoffs. So you will question how much resistance you will face when it comes to the last two games for both teams. As the 1-2 misses down low, and it'll be a 2-2 count here for Cal Stevenson.
Well, I mean, Gabe, you think that, in the last two games, two of the top teams will lighten up a little bit. Well, tomorrow, Brendan King is throwing for Falmouth.
That one's lifted over the head of Rutherford, trickles into center, and a one-out base hit, and running for more. But Proctor's going to make a throw over to Henry. He keeps it in front at first base, and Stevenson will slide back in.
Great work by Henry to keep the ball in front, but as we mentioned, tomorrow against Falmouth, Brendan King will be throwing for the Commodores. He was an all-star, and he's their 5-starter, really. 2.90 ERA. That's the highest out of all 5 starters for Falmouth. So, I mean, that's Falmouth's version of lightening up, is throw your 5 guy against Hyannis. Your 5 guy, however, is kind of better than any starting pitcher on this Hyannis team right now. Safe to say, at least, from a stats standpoint.
Nowotnik stares on into Genesta, and he throws on over to first, though.
Hyannis has played YD very closely. They've ended up dropping their last 2 against him, or the last game against them. They won their final meeting, or their first meeting here on July 4th against YD, but they're now 1-2 in the series.
No 1 count still here for Nowotnik. He sets, runner goes, and that one is fouled away by Genesta. A hit and run is squandered, and it'll be an 0-2 count to Grayson Genesta.
Stevenson had second stolen by a mile. Nowotnik really slow to home plate.
He sets up again. Stevenson takes his lead over at first. Doesn't go this time. That one drops in, though, for a called strike looking on Genesta. And there's 2 outs in the inning.
Really nice stuff there from Mark Nowotnik.
Number 14, Ryan Hagan.
Addington's got to deal with Hagan, who's had himself a good day, a double and 2 walks.
Has an RBI and a run scored as well. He has a runner on in Cal Stevenson. And he goes on that. It misses down low, though, for Hudgens to even make a try. And he'll reach in scoring position with 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, Stevenson just took it with ease. Hudgens had no play down at second. Nowotnik, he's really got to speed up his delivery home.
It'll be a 1-0 count for Nowotnik here in the top of the 8th inning with Cotuit leading 4-1. And Hudgens is going to go out and talk once again to Nowotnik after having a meeting quickly. And this one ends quickly as well on the mound. Ryan Hagan steps into the right-handed batter's box with a 1-0 count and 2 outs in the inning. Nowotnik stares over to second, and Stevenson goes from that. Hudgens loses the ball in his glove and trickles in the dirt, and Stevenson will reach 90 feet away from home.
I mean, again, Nowotnik is just so slow to home. The stretch takes so long, and it gives Hudgens no chance to fire down. mean, Steven just threatening to go home here. He's dancing around at third, smiling. Look, if it wasn't a righty batter, I would think about sending him home maybe.
The 2-0 grounded sharply to Rutherford. He gathers and throws to first, and that will put the Indian away. They leave a runner stranded and stay at a 4-1 deficit to Cotuit as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and mobile application development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Bottom of the 8th inning here at McKeon Park. A 4-1 lead for the Kettleers here in Game 6 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup. Dylan Busby, the DH, will lead things off, followed by Cody Henry and Chris Hudgens. Off-speed first pitch by Eddie Mole. Misses for ball one. Busby, a walk in the first, single in the third, and popped out to first in the 5th inning. He has been stranded at first in both the times he's reached there, and he swings at that off speed down low for a 1-1 count.
Busby came up with a big opportunity his last at-bat. Just couldn't capitalize. Had runners on the corners and popped it up into the infield.
The 1-1 is ripped, but right into the glove of Pierce. He did grab it before the hop, and it's a line out to start the inning.
Good piece. Just right at Pierce. Kind of seems to be the storyline forming here, Gabe.
So one away in the inning, Cody Henry will step in. He's 2 for 3, a single in the first and a double in the 6th. Mole stares on in, kicks and delivers, and misses outside. Seven hits apiece, a 4-1 lead for Cotuit. The 1-0 misses down low for Mole. Cody Henry has batted in the left-handed box this entire game. Recently, he's been moved in the right-handed side more times than not. Pitch hits the outside, and it's a 2-1 count to Henry, where Hyannis has had to play a lot of lefty pitchers in a recent span of time, and has forced Henry to be able to bat from the right side more often than he did earlier on in the season. The 2-1 hits inside for a strike.
Yeah, it was kind of a struggle for Henry. to adapt to that left side of the plate. He's a stronger right-handed hitter, but since the beginning of the season, he has shown tremendous strides from the opposite side of the box.
Eddie Mole kicks the 2-2 pitch. Misses outside and a full count to Cody Henry. Susnara tried to pull that one back in, but he left his glove hanging outside, upside down too much to pull it back in without being noticed. The pitch from Mole is swung on and missed by Henry, and 2 outs in the inning.
Not many strikeouts tonight for Hyannis. I mean, the first strikeouts garnered by a Cotuit pitcher came in the 5th, and the big one coming in the 7th. Or excuse me, the 5th inning, that was a strikeout by Rutherford, and it was a huge strikeout indeed. As Proctor was on third base, and there was only 1 out in the inning.
Only 3 strikeouts for Hyannis tonight. Chris Hudgens steps in and takes a big hack at the off-speed that curves outside. Mole has worked well in relief for Jason Billis, as he kicks and delivers another that's ripped right past Mole and trickles out into center. And Chris Hudgens will have a 2-out base hit.
First knock tonight for Chris Hudgens.
Now here,
very solid at the plate. Always a tough at-bat. Nice single up the middle there.
scared Mole off the mound as it came right back at him. Now manager Roberts is going to tiptoe his way out to the mound. And he is going to make a call to the bullpen. So that will be it for Mole. He gets 2 outs in the inning, but will be relieved here in the bottom of the 8th with a runner on and a 4-1 lead for Cotuit here in the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 8th inning still as we return back with 2 outs. And Alec Bird, the lefty out of Florida State, will step in here. A 2014 Hyannis Hard Rock makes his return back here to McKeon Park. This will be his 9th appearance, has a 1.76 ERA, 15 1/3 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 walks and 22 strikeouts for the Seminole. So Roberts looked like he was trying to match Hyannis with a lefty-lefty matchup against Este, but Gassman fights right back and puts in Carl Stadjuar to null that lefty-lefty matchup.
Yeah, we've seen Gassman do that a lot. He matches up Stadjuar with left-handers and Este with righties. More often than not, obviously, Este gets in the lineup.
He steps in here. Chris Hudgens over at first, a 2-out single. And the first pitch misses down low for Bird.
And I'd imagine that they'll put Josh Bailey out in left field after this at-bat by Stadjuar.
The 1-0. Stadjuar lifts that one up. It goes in foul territory. Genesta is right under it. And that retires Hyannis here in the 8th. A 4-1 lead for Cotuit. They take it to the 9th inning here at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. We reach the 9th inning here, a 4-1 lead for Cotuit. Garrett Kay will enter the game for Hyannis. We spoke of him before. And unfortunately coming in another situation, not for a save. He came in the last game against Cotuit in the final inning. Pitched an inning and allowed a walk, and that was it. And he deals the first pitch inside to the 9 spot in Jackson Klein. But Garrett Kay still with some stellar numbers, even though he has not been utilized by Hyannis. Fastball inside by the hands and a 2-0 count to Klein. This will be his 19th appearance. A 1.56 ERA, 17 and a third, 8 hits, 11 walks, and what do you know, 32 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That number's going to get tallied up, however, in this inning.
May not be with Klein as he sits with a 3-0 count to lead things off in the inning. Cave sets from the belt, kicks and deals. A fastball hits down low for a strike one.
And Cave now in his 19th appearance on Cape Cod. 19, that's a lot for a closer, really. Most appearances on the team.
Swing and a miss by Klein. And it'll be a full count. And it shows the weakness of Hyannis that they have needed him that many times. I mean, granted, earlier on in the season, I think they were figuring out where they wanted to put him. So
yeah. Well,
two of those appearances maybe.
After he struggled against Bourne.
Payout pitch, misses inside at the knees, and a leadoff walk for Jackson Klein here in the ninth.
I mean, after his Bourne stint, they kind of wanted to see what he would be like out of the stretch instead. I mean, that was the main thing that him and Corn worked on was Corn said, hey, don't go from the windup. You have no rhythm. Go from the stretch. It's a lot better. And so he's done that the rest of the season. He's been fantastic. Since then, he's only let up 2 earned runs.
Faces Quinn Brody, but makes a throw over to Klein, who stands up safely at first. Brody is struggled this evening, which is something you don't see when he's played Hyannis. 2 pop-outs, a fly-out, and reached on an error. First pitch is a fastball, hits for a strike to Brody, but he has not needed to be the guy this evening for Cotuit, as his teammates have backed him up in this game.
Yeah, A.J. Balta, 3 RBIs on the night. Guy that you're looking at in the Cotuit dugout. But Cave, we mentioned that he only has 2 earned runs since facing Bourne in that first game of the season, and those 2 runs have come in non-save situations.
The 0-1 misses outside. Hudgens loses it in his glove, but keeps it right in front of him, and Klein will stay at first.
And you really wonder, Gabe, if Garrett Cave goes back to Florida International and goes, Coach, I want to be a closer. I like this role better. And if Florida International gives him a chance at closing instead of just saying, no, we're going to have you as a starter.
The 1-1 pitch just misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. I would think he told his coach, or his coach might have even told him, but he did come up here with the initial thought of saying he wants to try and be a reliever, and it's worked wonderfully for him. I mean, runner goes. Hudgens throws over to Rutherford. It nails Jackson Klein as he slides in, and we'll see. I believe it was a ball called there on Brody. So, yeah, it's a 3-1 count and a stolen base for Klein with no outs here in the ninth. But I would think, I mean, not to ruffle any feathers, I feel like the coach would be a fool to put him back into a starting role after what you've seen him do up here.
Yes and no. I mean, Cave has done well as a starter, and, granted, Florida International, they need guys who are going to start. They need guys who are going to go 4 or 5 innings for them. Cave is one of those guys who can, and he's got good stuff, so I can understand trying to utilize him as a starter, but I think right now major league teams are looking at him, scouts, and they're saying he's a great reliever.
The 3-1 misses way outside, and 2 straight walks here for Garrett Cave to start the inning.
Corn's going to come out and talk with him now, settle him down.
There's going to get some motion going in the Hyannis bullpen as well. And Garrett Cave struggling. He's going to get a meeting on the mound with Ray Corn, you don't see him do this too much, but when it does, really to try and help out the pitchers and kind of what he's seen from him. And he's seen from him has been very different from what the normal Garrett Cave is, but this isn't the normal spot for Garrett Cave either. It is the 9th inning, but it's not the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, and Corny immediately looks at his hand. looks how he's gripping his fastball, it seems. Talking to the infield here as well. I mean, they're going to have to get him out of jam.
So Gordon continues to talk, and he will relieve the inning. And Cave will step back on, and he will have a couple more moments to chat with Chris Hudgens. But he will step off, and he will now face Jordan Pierce. No outs here in the top of the ninth inning. A 4-1 lead already for the Kettleers. Looking to extend it here and put Hyannis in a major hole going into the bottom of the inning. Jordan Pierce steps in, and he has a hit in the first, but since then has walked and been hit by a pitch twice. Scored runs in the third and fifth inning. And that one hits on the outside for Cave for strike one.
Pierce, Cisnara, and then Balta due up, and they kind of have been the spark of the offense here. Before we get to it.
Showing bunt, but that one goes upstairs. And it'll be a 1-1 count to Jordan Pierce. Cisnara, as you mentioned, stand on deck, and he has had an odd evening also. Ground down to a double play in the first, walked in two fielder's choices. Showing bunt again. He gets it down. Cave will grab and throw to first over Proctor, but he does step on the bag. And both runners will advance to another base, but one out is away in the inning.
Great work from Proctor. That could have been a disaster. Really athletic play, flashes that athleticism.
6, Tim Cisnera.
Has to hop up there. Not even being 6 foot helps you with that jump. Cave now has one out in the inning. He now faces the aforementioned Tim Cisnera. Runners both in scoring position now. Klein at third and Brody at second. And the first pitch misses outside.
Cisnara has been one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position for Cotuit. He's hitting .348 with 11 RBIs.
Infield moves in, and that pitch misses as well for Cave, and you can now see the frustration not being able to hit that outer half of the strike zone.
I mean, it's Steve Gramsch has really the outside part of the zone and the lower part, they've just been non-existent almost.
That time he gets nowhere near it. It's a 3-0 count to Cisnera. The 3-0 from Cave, off speed, and that one hits for a strike, and that would show the frustration from him because that one was similar to where his fastballs hit.
It was the same pitch. I don't know what is going on.
Cave will try again. The 3-1, off speed, lifted into center field. Truitt moving over into the left side of it, makes the grab. He'll try a throw in simply at third. Coming in to score will be Klein, and it's a 5-1 lead for Cotuit.
Great work by Tim Cisnara. Just lifts that ball into center field. Easy RBI for him. And Cotuit tacks on to their lead here in the ninth.
So 1 run scored. And not even by A.J. Balta, who has 3 of the RBIs. But Tim Cisnara sacrificed fly out. He gathers another RBI. That's his 13th RBI here for Cotuit. And Klein scores his 12th run of the season. First pitch into Balta. Short hopper over to Rutherford. Gathers off the hop over to first. Henry reaches out, keeps his foot on the bag, and ends the inning. Hyannis allows one more run to cross and has a 4-run deficit as they head to the bottom of the ninth inning here from McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the ninth inning, a 5-1 lead for the Kettleers. And the Hard Rocks facing a 5-game losing streak, and Cotuit still with an opportunity to take fourth place. And the leadoff man will be Christian Malfetta, the redshirt freshman out of Stanford. So this will be his not only his first at-bat here on Cape, but his first collegiate at-bat. And what a way to have it here with a 5-1 deficit for Hyannis. He stands in the right-handed batter's box here. Takes the first pitch from Bird. Called for a strike on the lower corner.
And we talked about new faces earlier. Christian Malfetta, one of those, just recently came up. Was playing in the Coastal League out in Carolina. California, excuse me.
Pitch misses way outside. It'll be a 1-1 count to Malfetta. And he comes in, seeing some of his fellow Stanford teammates on the other end for Cotuit, one of them specifically being Quinn Brody. Doing well for them. He fights off the pitch. It's called. He did not go around, says Larry Rosenberg, and it's a 2-1 count for Malfetta.
Pretty crazy that Malfetta playing baseball here, as his dad played international soccer and rugby.
The 2-1 is popped up into the air. Balta is in shallow right field, and he makes the grab for the first out. I mean, he looks like he could have the body for it.
For which one, soccer or rugby?
I mean,
very different sports there.
Probably more rugby. I mean, I feel like he's not big enough even for rugby. You've seen some of the guys that play rugby?
Oh, dude, you can just weasel your way in and out. If you got a frame, you can just kind of slip and slide out of the big guy's grip.
Pitch misses way outside by Bird to Troy Truitt. With one out away here in the bottom of the ninth. A 5-1 lead for the Kettleers. Next pitch misses up in the corner.
Think True could play rugby?
Unfortunately not. He's probably a soccer guy more than anything.
Well,
You see his feet? You see how quickly he can
wheels.
move?
He's got wheels.
I don't know about his control with the ball, but
Interesting to see which of these guys played other sports. I mean,
a
we
lot
know
of them
that
probably
Justin-
have played other
well,
sports.
They definitely. I mean, Justin Lewis, he was a basketball player, and he was going to go play college basketball.
I mean,
Probably not at Kentucky, but, probably a good D1 school.
one can dream. 3-0 count here to Trey Truitt. Bird kicks and delivers down Broadway for a strike. I mean, some of these guys were quarterbacks at their respective high schools, too.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers usually.
Truitt fouls that one off, and it makes it a full count here for Bird with one out in the bottom of the ninth.
When you're rehabbing, when you're coming back from Tommy John, one of the first things that they have you do is throw a football and have a football pass before you even pick up a baseball, because it just helps the elbow, helps those mechanics coming over the shoulder, extending that elbow out. And a lot of pitchers, a lot of high school pitchers too, or quarterbacks, have that throwing motion.
Payout pitch is swung on and missed upstairs by Truitt, and 2 outs are down in the inning.
Well, Gabe, it looks like it won't come down to the multiple tiebreakers to break this Barnstable Patriot Cup.
Number 4, Lord Proctor.
When it comes down to strikeouts, I feel like you begin to question what you're doing when it comes to deciding a victor.
Deciding who's going to win
Yeah.
by the least amount of strikeouts in the game.
Bird, the first pitch is flown away by Proctor on the left side. No, actually they do the most strikeouts. Whichever team gathers the most strikeouts.
Accumulates, so pitching-wise.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so they go to the batting stat and
That's
runs
true.
first. I guess the second place that you go is you go to a pitching. See what they've done.
That one popped up in the air. It's staying in fair territory. Moving foul, though. Looking over and not being able to see it as it knocks hard on top of the Hyannis dugout is Pierce. I guess you could say having the most strikeouts is also having the least strikeouts. But I think they like to turn it more to the pitching side that they get that done.
I was about to say the same thing.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, of course.
I think
the pitcher.
I think they like to spin it towards the pitching that gets it done.
Well, they won't need it here.
0-2 count for Bird. Ford Proctor in the left-handed batter's box. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. They lead 5-1. Bird, the pitch is grounded right up the middle, and Proctor with a 2-out base hit.
And he silences some of the Cotuit fans who are loud and cheering on the sideline.
And now Zach Rutherford steps in. Proctor stands over at first. 2 outs still in the bottom of the 9th inning. Facing up against Alec Bird, former Harbor Rock of 2014. A pitch to Rutherford, and he fouls that one off. Almost grabbed by Jordan Rogers in the on-deck circle.
Where was he last year?
I would not be able to tell you. It's hard to tell it's hard to remember every person that's been up on the Cape. That one is lifted and high into center field. Klein is over, and that'll do it. The Cotuit Kettleers take the Barnstable Patriot Cup by a series of 4-2, and they continue to bite at the knees of Hyannis as they can stay in the playoff hunt with 2 games to go.
Yeah, I mean, as crazy as that sounds, Hyannis is not in the playoffs yet. And Gabe, granted, it's going to come down to Cotuit if they can win the next 2 games against Wareham and YD. Both are very far-fetched. I mean, YD, one of the best teams in the league, and Wareham has really owned Cotuit this season. And, I mean, they're the 2nd seed in the West right now. So this kind of comes down to if Cotuit can win. I think the pressure's more on Cotuit than it is Hyannis. But look, I mean, Hyannis, they have 2 very tough games coming up next, Falmouth and YD. They dropped their 6th straight, and they're finishing the season like they started it, Gabe.
I would venture to believe, I feel like they had a little bit better of a time. I mean, pitching was a really big thing. Now, pitching helped get it done a little bit. Justin Lewis did have a struggling start, but for the past couple of games, pitching has been the thing that's kept him in games, but it's really just been plain hitting, and they've had their opportunities tonight. A lot of walks dealt from Jason Billis, and they just could not get it done. That's been the biggest thing as they stumble, whether it's stumbling to get out of the playoffs or they stumble into the playoffs. They're going into it either way in a bad shape.
Yeah, and they're going to face Falmouth. Falmouth has probably 4 of the best pitchers in the league, and Hyannis, they can't put it together offensively. I mean, they matched Cotuit tonight with hits, and they just cannot string it together. You see them get leadoff guys on. Guys first and third situations with 1 out. Guys are striking out. And Gabe, there's nothing. There's no chemistry. You never feel like this team is building towards something. They just seem deflated to some level. And, 6 straight losses, that shows it.
A 5-game losing streak for Hyannis. They fall to 17-25. Cotuit moves up to 15-26-1. 2 more games to go. Hyannis will head to the first place in the Western Division, Falmouth Commodores, tomorrow, a team that they may face in the playoffs, but they need a win or Cotuit loss. For my broadcast partner, Jack Keffer, I'm Gabe Sustick. Once again, the final score, 5-1. The Kettleers take the victory and the Barnstable Patriot Cup. We hope you join us tomorrow at Ernie Allen Diamond, a 6 p.m. start in Falmouth. But for now, we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for listening to Hard Rocks Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.